All right, so in this video, I'm going to touch on something that you might be doing without even knowing it. I do it all the time, but it's something that seems so harmless, but it might be completely trapping your mind and trapping your consciousness, and that is labeling. Labeling sounds super harmless. Why would classifying something, why would giving meaning to something, why would that be an issue? It doesn't seem like anything crazy, but labels put walls around our consciousness, and it keeps our mind trapped because the moment that we assign a label to something, we lock that in, we crystallize that, and it becomes true in our reality. And the moment we assign a rigid name or a meaning or a classification to something, we stop experiencing that thing directly for what it truly is, and instead, we only experience our mental concept of it. Labels are really like pre-installed filters that tell our brain how to interpret reality. And so instead of going into each moment with fresh awareness, we see that present moment through the lens of old assumptions, old judgments, everything from the past. And in this way, we are creating essentially a living hell for ourselves, where we are reliving the past over and over again, and we're stuck in a time loop. We're never actually expanding or evolving, we're just replaying the past. And that to me is hell. That is what happens when our consciousness, or you could say our soul, becomes trapped. And so what we're doing when we label something is we're shrinking a life that has infinite possibilities into one singular fixed reality. We are collapsing the infinite of life. In reality, anything can happen, but our expectations, how we want to define things, the meaning that we give things, and a lot of this is happening subconsciously. We don't even realize how we're doing it. But we're creating our own box. We remain stuck in what we know. Really, if we remain fully present, we exist in a state of pure being. Our energy or our attention should just flow freely. But instead, we're trapping all of this energy because what does awareness do? We can manipulate and control energy with our awareness, with what we're focusing on. So instead of having access to infinite possibilities, we keep ourselves closed off into one. And we're trapping all this energy and our lives are really stuck. What we really need to realize is that we create the meaning to life. We can alter our lives based on just changing how we see it, based on changing what we believe about ourselves, because we're just getting a reflection of everything that we believe about ourselves. That's all external reality is, just a reflection of our internal. And what labeling really is, it's an ego survival mechanism. The ego wants to define things. It wants to slap a label on something and make sense of it so it can feel safe. If we can label something, we believe that we can control it, but we know that we really can't control anything. That's like the paradox of life. You let go of control to have the control that you want. But consciousness only expands when we allow ourselves to observe something without putting it into a box. And we want to be expansive, but we try to label things and it contracts our energy and it contracts our reality. Pure awareness, witness consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it just observes. It just exists. It's just in pure being and it's expansive. And really, if you want to go deeper, what labeling is doing is it's keeping us attached to the physical realm. And in the next video, we're going to talk about becoming immortal. Yes, physical reality is great. This life is freaking awesome, and we want to ground in it. But when we're talking about becoming a free soul, freeing ourselves from the prison that we have created for ourselves in our head, and freeing ourselves from being trapped in a literal loop of hell, recreating the past, then I don't think it's really ideal. True freedom comes from experiencing without naming, feeling without explaining it, and just being without having to define everything. Some of the common mind traps that we can fall for are all or nothing thinking, thinking in terms of absolute, saying things like always or every time or never. Reality is not absolute. Overgeneralization. Taking one experience that you have went through and then applying that as truth. If this happened to me, then every single other circumstance must be the same way. Again, that's not how life works. Making should statements. Thinking, oh, I should do this, or I should act this way, or things should work out like this, keeps us trapped, keeps us tied to a specific outcome, and doesn't really make room for life to make its magic and for infinite possibilities to really be available to us. We may be at a subconscious level clinging or attached to our trauma or pain, like addicted to pain, because we've adopted it as part of our identity. There may have been one thing that happened when we were like 16 and we're still living it out when we're 35. We're frozen in time. And we've let one failure or one mistake let us think that we always screw things up. Or one thing that someone said to us color our whole perception of ourselves. You can see how this kind of stuff built up over time becomes a part of our conditioning, our programming, and it locks us down. And we spend our whole lives trying to prop up this artificial personality we don't even want. It's not even who we truly are. We are free, we are the soul or our higher self, we are limitless, but we've been sold these certain lies. One of the biggest ones is division and separation. And we do this, we continue the separation and division when we try to put things into two categories. Label something as good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative, and not realizing that both, right, make up the whole. Both are essentially necessary in this physical reality, and we can take learning lessons from both. You know, the worst thing could actually end up being the best thing for you, or something good could end up being bad. A failure may actually end up being or lead to our greatest success. Instead of getting caught up in both sides, we take a step back or a step above. You have duality, separation, and then you have unity. Labels fracture ourselves, fracture our consciousness, but just observing, witnessing, and being makes us unified, makes us whole, right? Holy. That is what I think that means. So anyway, that was just me ranting. Hopefully this helps to motivate you to start to really take a look at the limitations you're putting on yourself and see what true liberation really is. What a liberated mind or a liberated consciousness really is. So let me know what you think about that. Subscribe if you haven't already to support the channel. See ya.